Well, we're doing this. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Thunderbolts. This is an MCU movie that I have avoided like the plague. And that's because this movie conceptually sounds terrible. It brings in characters from the atrociously bad Black Widow movie, one of the worst MCU films we've had. And, on top of that, it pairs up all these different characters who should not be paired up. One of the biggest offenders is Bucky being part of this group, when Bucky would absolutely fucking not be part of this group. Especially when, with all of his developments in the likes of, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, Bucky would never team up with John Walker. Like, that just would never happen. And yet, for some reason, he's part of this group. And it'll probably be explained in the movie. It'll probably be some bullshit like he is against it at first, but then something convinces him to do it or whatever. But it's and he reluctantly ends up like working with them as a team and all, just ridiculous dumb shit like that. But it's like nothing about this in any way, shape, or form has interested me. And it's not because of like, oh, modern MCU stuff, but it's so bad. No, because that's stupid. For multiple reasons. I'm actually a huge defender of modern MCU stuff, and I actually think a lot of it is better than the original MCU stuff. I think that the Infinity Saga is good and has some great movies in it, but I think a lot of that is weaker than the stuff we're getting nowadays. Especially involving stuff with Miss Marvel and Spider-Man has been great. And stuff like that. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's, like, really been the highlights lately. The new Captain America Brand New World was great. But I'm just... I don't know. I just feel like with the Black Widow movie and this one kind of like feeling like almost a successor to that, as well as like, again, doing the other stuff I mentioned, it just feels like there are some notable missteps along the way. And I'm just not excited to see this. But it was requested by Venom, because all movies this week for our monthly movie week were requested by Venom. So yeah. we are getting to it nonetheless. And hell, this movie might end up surprising me. I'm always open to that. I'm always open to the idea that I could be proven wrong. And I hope that I am. But I'm admittedly going into this without a lot of hope and faith. Because everything I've seen for this movie, every bit of advertisement and like every bit of information has been absolutely stupid. And ironically, this has been one of the more popular recent Marvel movies. A lot of people are saying that it's actually really good, but when it comes to the MCU, I've like very notably disagreed with most people. I mean, one of the biggest examples there is I think that two of the worst movies in the MCU as a whole are the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I think they're terrible. And only the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie is good in any way. And it is really good, but the first two suck ass. But I know that's an unpopular opinion. Because, you know, they're made by James Gunn, and insulting anything made by James Gunn is apparently heresy. So, yeah. Although, it's not the only thing I don't like that James Gunn has done, especially in superhero media. Some of his DC stuff recently has not been great, in my opinion, either. I mean, looking at Peacemaker, looking at Creature Commandos. But yeah, it's like, this is one of those cases where I'm just not excited to see this. And if it wasn't requested, I probably never would. If this wasn't done as a request, I would probably never have seen this. I mean, I reluctantly watched Black Widow, and honestly, I've pretty much purged most of that movie from my mind. Because it's like, it was that bad to me where I just did not care to remember any of it. And so, I'm hoping to be proven wrong, but I'm not expecting to. And I just feel like this is gonna... I feel like they're gonna try to do like some kind of like feel-good team-up movie with this, and I'm just... I don't know. I just have no faith that I'm gonna be into it. Maybe that's just me, but we'll see. If I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. I will accept it. And no matter what, I don't expect the whole movie to be bad. I by no means expect like every single moment to be bad. I expect there's probably going to be one or two good moments in it, no matter what. And I feel like there's going to be some, there might be some good jokes or some great moments. And, as much as I like dislike the Black Widow movie, David Harbour's performance was good, so I can't hate on that. I'm not as into Florence Pugh, I think that's her name, as Yelena? Was that the character's name? I'm not as into her as everybody else seems to be. I feel like people are very like attached to her as a character and in terms of her performance, and I don't really see it. But David Harbour, like, I mean, he's pretty much always good. Even in the Hellboy reboot, which wasn't overall great, he was still good in it. It was more the writing of it that wasn't great. The effects were actually really good, and he was really good, but the writing wasn't great. So, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see, hope for the best. I don't know. I just let's just get into it and find out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out.
Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, before I get into everything else, I feel like because of what I said in the pre-thoughts and what I mentioned at the beginning of the reaction, I have to talk about just general thought on this. Especially because a lot of people cite this as one of the best MCU films in a long time. Um, it was better than I was expecting, but it's not one of the best films in a long time. It's not on the level of a lot of the other films from the multiverse saga. Like I have the saga up here. And let me go over all the ones from the multiverse saga, just the movies, not including the shows, and go over which I find to be better or worse. So Black Widow is worse. Shang-Chi is better. Eternals is better. Spider-Man No Way Home is better. Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange movie is better. Haven't seen Thor Love and Thunder, so I can't say on that. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is better. Haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Guardians Volume 3 is better. The Marvels is better. Deadpool and Wolverine is better. Captain America Brave New World is better. Fantastic Four First Steps is better. And that's all that's out. So that's 10 movies that are better and only one that is worse. Pretty much every movie in the multiverse saga, phases 4, 5, and 6 so far have been better than this. The only one that's worse is Black Widow. And then if you include shows and stuff, you would also include stuff like Miss Marvel and whatnot. And then it's obviously we can't include stuff that's not out currently, like Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Secret Wars. But let's talk about this. So, my biggest issue with going into this is I didn't think that this team was believable to be a team. And on top of that, from the trailers and advertising I'd seen with this, it seemed to rely heavily on follow-up from Black Widow. And both of those things I think actually were accurate. This had the literal opposite problem as Captain America Civil War. Captain America Civil War is not a Captain America movie. It's just not. It's an Avengers movie, and it should have been titled as such. Trying to paint it as a Captain America movie made absolutely no sense. And, the movie was, it was about Captain America and Iron Man being, kind of the leaders of opposite sides, but it wasn't a Captain America movie. It was an Avengers movie. It was the full team, including newer characters that were brought in, like Black Panther and Spider-Man at the time. It wasn't a Captain America movie. This, on the other hand, is absolutely not a Thunderbolts movie. This is the opposite problem, where they market it as being a movie about the team, but this is a YELENA movie. It's not even one of those cases where it's it's a team-up movie, but one character is just clearly a bigger character than the others. This is entirely a YELENA movie. Every other character doesn't matter. Every other character is there to initiate and push YELENA, or YELENA, however you want to say it. I think YELENA is technically accurate, but, Either way, every character, every other part of this is literally there to push forth her character growth. The second most important character in this is Bob, but everyone else doesn't matter. Red Guardian doesn't matter. Walker doesn't matter. Bucky doesn't matter. Dave Fontaine doesn't matter. None of these other characters matter. None of them are there to be actual characters. They're there to push Yelena's growth, and that's it. They're plot devices. And they felt like plot devices. Again, except for Bob. Bob, as the second most important character, actually did feel like a character. But therein lies another problem I have in kind of this same regard. I wish this was just a Sentry movie. I feel this would have been vastly better if Bob was the main character and this movie was centered almost entirely on him as the main character, with his struggles dealing with, like, you know, the mental illness issues and everything he had to struggle with. And you could have still had some of these other characters in it, but have this marketed as a Sentry movie. Have it marketed as all these other characters just being like characters he's interacting with because of everything he's going through, and he's just getting involved in ways that would get them to come out and try to deal with him. But like, have it be from more his perspective, and I think this would have been better. I actually think that could have raised it to be like upper tier for the multiverse saga. The problem is, and I know that I'm in the minority on this. I know that people like Yelena. I don't. I don't have a reason to. I feel like both the Black Widow movie and now this have given me no reason to really care that much for her. Like, her character is just like, I have a sad, tragic, traumatic backstory, and she feels like nothing else besides that to me. Which is weird, because I usually love traumatized characters. That sounds weird, but hear me out. I usually love characters who are traumatized and have gone through heavy shit, because it's relatable and sympathetic in a way that makes them feel like very lovable. But the problem is, for both her and her sister, with what Black Widow did, as the movie Black Widow, to specify, it didn't make me care about them. And mind you, I did not give a shit about Black Widow, the character, throughout the entire MCU. She was such a bad character. I don't care what anyone says. Scarlett Johansson's not like a terrible actress. She's not great, but she's not terrible. She's actually better at voice acting, weirdly enough. But she just didn't make me care about Natasha in any way, shape, or form. And not to mention, the writing on Black Widow was absolute dog shit. She was barely a character. So, yeah. It's just, the Black Widow movie just really didn't do anything to make me care about her. Especially since it came out after the character had already died. And then it didn't make me care about Yelena either. And Alexei he's just kind of there. Like, yeah, David Harbour puts in a good performance, because David Harbour always puts in a good performance. But in terms of the character, in terms of the writing, it's just like, he just exists. I don't really care. And it's like, I don't care about Yelena. I don't care about her. I care about Bucky. I care more about Walker. I don't care about Yelena. I honestly really don't care about Ghost. Like, she's from Ant-Man and the Wasp, the first one, not Quantumania, but Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is the second Ant-Man movie. You know what I mean. And she was a terrible written villain in that. It was just, that movie was not good. But she was not good in it either, and it's like, then you also bring in Taskmaster from Black Widow, and it's like, I guess I didn't recognize her because she got a new mask or whatever. Unless she did have that mask in Black Widow as well, and I just don't remember it because I shut out a lot from that movie. But it's like, she's in the advertising for this film as part of the Thunderbolts, and then she's just killed like 20 minutes into the movie. Never actually became a member of the Thunderbolts because they weren't a team at that point. So it's just like, oh, that's just a misdirect. You just lied to us. But she was terrible too. Atrocious version of the Taskmaster. They really fucked that up big time. Maybe that's why they chose to kill her off so quickly in this movie, because they know that people hated her. And people did. It's not just me. people really hated what they did with Taskmaster in the MCU. So that's the only thing I could think of as to why she was killed off so early, despite being used in the advertising. Um, but yeah, it's like, I just, when I don't care about most of the team, it's like, why is this going to appeal to me? And like I was worried about ahead of time, Bucky's inclusion in this makes no sense. Like they tried to do it so that he like teamed up with them to go against Dave Fontaine because he and Dave Fontaine were kind of butting heads already. But like him suddenly becoming like going Winter Soldier mode instead of Congressman mode almost out of nowhere. One, that felt entirely rushed and felt like it should have had a lot more to it. But even outside of that, he just accepted things way too easily. It's like he got the call and what the story they were giving him was corroborated, but he just teamed up with them way too easily. And especially considering Walker, like he would not have done that. It felt out of character and it just didn't work. The fact that Dave Fontaine at the end also just gets away with it is also super unsatisfying. Everything she's done, and it's like, I understand that, like, Yelena's like, oh, we own you now, and she's, like, kind of taking control of the situation, but Dave Fontaine she doesn't get impeached. She doesn't face any actual repercussions for her actions. It's like, what was the fucking point? It's like, yeah, you could say it's more realistic, a politician not facing repercussions for their actions. But at the same time, like this is a movie, and part of the satisfaction of a movie, especially one like this, is seeing the villain get their comeuppance at the end. I'm not saying that she had to die. No, but she should have absolutely got impeached. Even if she wasn't sent to prison, even if she got out of that shit, she should have at least gotten impeached. The fact that she didn't feels unsatisfying. If it feels like the villain just won in a way. You also have the fact that this movie is clearly about mental health issues. Which is funny because a lot of active haters of modern day Marvel movies and just a lot of modern day movies in general constantly bitch about these movies bringing in topics like that and claiming, oh, it's getting woke, it's getting they're trying to inject this leftist shit into these movies, keep politics out of movies, which is bullshit for a number of reasons. But I have heard no one complaining about this movie. Everything I hear only positive reviews of this film. And again, I've not like gotten really much spoilers, but outside of like the big ending reveal of them as the new Avengers. But it's like I've seen what a lot of people have said about this movie. And yeah, I'm just not impressed. I don't get it. It feels, for being 2 hours long, it feels weirdly rushed as well. It's like the entire second half, especially, like basically once he becomes Sentry, he's Sentry for like what, 5 minutes? Not even. And then he's just the Void, I guess. And the Void is just like this unstoppable wave of depression, just locking people away into a pocket universe, these rooms of like reliving their greatest sorrows and all. And then it's just defeated with the power of friendship and everything, and it's like I can dig the power of friendship in certain circumstances, but this just felt like really, I mean, I guess it's the only way they could have stopped him because there's no way any of these idiots could have actually done anything to physically defeat the Void or Sentry for that matter. But it feels unbelievable to me. And again, it feels rushed. It feels like it just blew past Sentry to bring in the Void stuff. And then the Void stuff was just like barely a thing until it was defeated. Like, I think all of that happened within the last 30 minutes. And I don't know. It just feels super rushed to me. Most of this movie was just the team kind of like connecting and getting together and escaping from DeFontaine and everything. And a lot of it was boring, if I'm being completely honest. Like, there was a lot of it, it's like, there were no stakes, because we knew none of them were going to die. Like, even, like, again, it's not even about being spoiled on things, it's just like, you know that none of them have any chance of even getting really that hurt. It's like, there's no real stakes to anything happening, yet they're acting as if the stakes are insane. They try to be funny at multiple points in the film, and practically nothing in this movie is funny. They try to crack these random jokes here and there, and none of it is funny. And, like, some of the actors aren't even that great. Like, honestly, Ghost, like, I don't know this actress offhand outside of from in these movies. She's not that good. I apologize. I'm sorry. She's not. And I don't think, at least in terms of this movie, well, this and Black Widow, I don't think that Florence Pugh is like that great as Yelena. I don't know. That might be heresy to some people, but I think people overrate her. Like, Bucky also just barely felt like a character. And I mean, again, most of them barely felt like characters, but Bucky really, especially for how big he is in the MCU as a total, and for the fact that, The Winter Soldier is one of the most popular MCU films, period. Bucky felt really underutilized here and just like they barely let him be a character. And it just felt wrong to me. And again, it's just like I just feel like this movie should have been 30 to 40 minutes longer. It really felt like they cut out a lot of content, and especially in the second half, and just rushed the shit out of it just to get it done and over with. It's not good. It's I mean, it's not bad. Again, it's better than I expected it to be. But like, I don't know. It's not Black Widow levels, but at best I might give it like a 6 out of 10. It's like it's on the positive side, I guess. But that's pretty much because of, Bob at this point. Like, despite Yelena being the main character of the film, and not actually being, a film about the team, despite what it's labeled, Bob was definitely the standout because, again, most of the other characters weren't allowed to be standouts. Bob was, even though he still took second fiddle to Yelena. But I just kind of wish this was a Sentry movie. I wish it was about him because it clearly like feels like it almost wanted to be. And it felt like it would have been so much better if it was. I'm I'm just I'm not even really disappointed because again, it's better than I expected it to be. But it still feels like a letdown in the modern MCU landscape. When phases 4 through 6 have been so good for the most part, we've got so many great movies and even shows. It's just, how do we get something like this? How do we get something like Black Widow? They're so aggressively weak compared to everything else. And it's like, I've seen the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. It looks phenomenal. It looks great. Michael Mando is back as Scorpion. We're getting the Hand. We have Punisher in there. It's like, it looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to be an absolute blast. And mind you, the Spider-Man movies are amongst the best in the MCU, just period. And I'm not just saying that because, I'm biased because Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel superhero. They're genuinely, in terms of writing, character work, action, pacing, just the best, in my opinion. And so I feel like Brand New Day is going to just completely, blow everything, else out of the water from recent memory and even going into the future. Because I don't have a lot of faith in Doomsday. A lot of people are excited because of all the returning characters. A lot of characters from, the Fox Marvel movies are going to be there. And it's just yeah, but they're also making all these bad decisions, like bringing Steve Rogers back, having Robert Downey Jr. be Doom, which is a horrible decision for so many reasons. And it's just I don't know. I don't have a lot of actual faith in Doomsday. There's so many actors who would have been better to play Doom, and you could have actually hired a Romani actor, but they don't give a shit about that kind of accuracy. They don't want Romani characters to be played by Romani actors. No, they don't give a shit. I mean, look at Scarlet Witch. But yeah, it's just, this is one of those movies that just, it is clearly not for me. It's clearly not for me, and it's clearly one of the weaker aspects of this saga of the MCU, at least. So I know I might be in the minority there, but I stand strong on my views. I stand strong on my opinions. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend that I think otherwise. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine. It's all subjective. You're allowed to disagree with me. But this movie was not good. Again, it wasn't okay. It was, again, a 6 out of 10 is still in the positive, but I would say that's more serviceable. It's okay at best. I wouldn't say it's that good. I would not say it's that bad. It's barely above center. So it's serviceable enough. But I know I'm in the minority there, so tell me your opinions down in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.